very much. Excited for our meeting. Just to remind you, I'm recording this meeting is just for quality assurance, right?
Sure.
Awesome. So you're almost done. I think you're done with the project. You were having questions about the precision score and the logistic regression. I answer you that maybe the X you are providing it the whole data set, the AV result, and maybe you should try to just use like a specific columns to feed that X.
Yeah, so I was just looking at it, and so right now I'm passing an AB page, UK and US.
Right.
So you're saying instead of so remove AB page?
Yeah, I'm saying remove AB. Let me share my screen. I didn't run that code. I believe it's not even required for the project. So that might be like an overkill. But let's see. So yeah, what I'm saying here is that you should remove the AB page, and instead you should feed whatever other columns you would like to use. So
Javier, you were breaking up.
So the thing is, and that's something I want to ask you as well. How if it's something it's optional for the project, I believe. I believe it's not even required.
Okay.
My project actually ends on point H, just like feed the linear model and then obtain the results and then your conclusions, and that's it. Does your project ask for the logistic regression model as well, or?
I don't know. I saw somewhere you should predict or something. Maybe can you control F and look for predict? Because I thought I saw somewhere predict with the yeah there. I thought, well, maybe I misinterpreted it. I don't know.
Do you want to look at yours? But mine finishes here, point and letter H. So it's just provide the summary results and your conclusions based on your results.
Yeah.
And from there, that's it.
Okay, yeah, then I'll just put that on hold. I mean, it's not really...
yeah, but look at yours. I mean, if you want to check it right now, we can do so, because maybe it was added for your updated version.
Oh, so it just says ages, though you have now looked at the individual factors of country and page on conversion, we would like to look at an interaction between page and conversion. Create necessary, yeah, it doesn't say, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, and this is what you previously did. As you can see, I use Canada instead of UK, but I basically feed the model the same way you did, and I get similar results. So our seed scores are different, but when I feed it, with UK instead of Canada, I got the exact same results as you for the seed score, which is a little elevated. It exceeds the critical point, but the p-value is still like super small, so it's not a significant result. But what I suggest is to turn in the project then. But if you would like to fit the other model just to see what are results you get, instead of feeding it with the AB page, I would create an array that has all the columns that I would like to fit. Like country, timestamp, group, landing page, and I think those are the only 4 that you need. And instead of writing AV page, I would write like country, timestamp, group, landing page, and that way you can predict the conversion rate.
Oh, got it. Yeah, I'll try that out. But as a side project. Awesome, cool. So I guess, yeah, I'll just wrap that project up and then submit it, and then hopefully, hopefully that should be it. And then actually, you know, on the next project, as you know, I already started, and I wanted to thank you for your code for the JSON file.
Oh, no problem. Did it work?
Yeah, it worked actually. I was just so stuck on like you know, how to, I don't know if you call it serialize, but basically I had this text file
Right.
with all this like data in dictionary form, and then when I loaded into a data frame, it didn't really, it it put all the text in one column, right? Obviously one
Right. Yeah. So it looks like
function.
a mess. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so that
and,
helped.
and sometimes it's just like you're missing one parameter, one tiny fragment of code, and it fixes the whole thing.
I know. So I feel like for that assignment now, I should be good to go also.
Okay. Do you want to briefly walk through it just to see what I got, or?
Yeah, if absolutely, I would love to.
All right. So the gather part, you already passed the most difficult part, which is the API gathering of the JSON data. What I really struggle with, which I think you did a really good job, is that uh, the that the tweet itself, what you get is a JSON element, and you have to take it out from a JSON element. So I think you did a really nice job with handling that.
Thank
And
you.
then that's the gathering part. So you already have it. Then the assess part is basically loading them, the 3 different files into separate data frames, and you're going to assess them for quality and for I forgot the name of the other one, quality and I'll remember in 1 second.
Yeah.
And you can assess it visually, so you can just like scroll and try to look for common errors like duplicates or missing values or whatever you need to find. And so I did that first, and I've loaded my 3 different data frames, and then like start looking for data types and empty cells. Okay, so I know for sure I have some empty cells over here.
I wanted
Looking
to
at
ask you.
what's
Yeah,
that?
so I wanted to ask you right here. So for the in reply to status ID and the in reply to user ID, so the second and third column, for example, those are not like if they're null,
Yeah.
it's possible, right? Because not every tweet has this
Yes.
status, so it's not okay.
Yeah, and for example, I think I decided to drop these columns, which is part of your assessment as well.
Got it.
So okay, so I looked at some tweets didn't have a name for the dog, as you can see here in name.
Yeah.
This is how many tweets don't have a name for the dog, and then we have like different numerators, and then we have like ratings below 10. So I just was like just trying everything I could think of. All right. But at the end of the day, what I really found is the following. So for quality, so summary tweets, you have to take care of that. Tweet ID is integer, and when you're working with an ID, you don't want it to be an integer, because you want it to be a string, because you don't want it to change. It's an ID. Then we have rows without value for any dog. They don't say anything if it's doggo, fluffer, popper, or poopo. We have some dog names that are like A and white, which is obviously wrong.
Yeah.
The timestamp column is a string, and it needs to be a timestamp. Okay. And for tidiness, the column headers are values, not variable names. What do I mean with that is, for example, where is it? Right here. So doggo, fluffer, popper, and poopo, these are different variables. So it should be one category. It should be like dog stage. Instead of having like these dummy variables, like for tidiness, it should be just one column that refers to the dog category, for example. I don't know if this kind of makes sense.
Can you say that again? I didn't understand.
Yes. So let me go back a little bit. So for quality issues, you're typically looking at data types. Make sure that you have the right data types. So for example, that the IDs are not integers, you should send them to strings. That the timestamps, they shouldn't be strings, they should be timestamps. So you're looking at that. That's like the basic thing. Then other thing for quality, just making sure that the name of the dog is the correct one. That is not like an A or a quite or a name that is obviously wrong.
Yeah.
And there's another one about how some denominators, you will see that they're wrong because they say 0.5. It was originally in the tweet, the denominator was 9.5, but it was cut incorrectly, so it will say 0.5. So those are errors you're going to find. Okay, that's in terms of quality. In terms of tidiness, the column headers are values and not variable names. What do I mean with that? So in tidiness, you want that each column is actually a variable, not a value. Okay, so doggo, it's a value. Why is it a value? Because it's either a doggo or not. So you have here yes or no. Fluffer, yes or no. Popper, yes or no. Pooper, yes or no. So you don't want this for tidiness because you have 4 different columns to when you could use just one column. If you had a column named doc stage, in that column you can identify if it's either a doggo, a fluffer, a pooper, a pooper. Instead of having 4 columns where I just put, oh, if it's a doggo, I want it here. I could just have one that says doggo.
So this looks like something like a dummy, like get dummy variables, and it should be reverted, right?
Right. So dummy variables are cool for models, for logistic models, but for tidiness, it's not ideal. So you have to take care of that.
Got it.
And at the end of the day, you have to merge the 3 data frames. Okay, because since they are referring to the same tweet, you would like to have everything in one data frame.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically what you have to do here is assess it, see your 3 data frames, see what's wrong with them in terms of quality and tidiness, and you have to list your findings over here. Okay. So for quality, this is what I found, and I'm going to list it right here. And for tidiness, this is what I found, I'm going to list it right here. So that's step number 2. All right. Any questions regarding this step?
No, but are you going to like fix these in this assignment, or was that not?
You need to fix this in this assignment. So this is the assess part, and then you move on to clean, where you fix those. Okay. So the first thing you need to do is create a copy of the 3 data frames so that you don't break it, right? So that you can work with the copies. And you start fixing the issues. For example, for tidiness, I had that all tables should be merged into one. So I start with that. Okay. And it's going to be really important that you use the define, code, test cycle for each of this. So basically in part 3, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through each point. Okay. And for each point, I'm going to define the problem. I'm going to code a solution, and then I'm going to test that I fixed. Okay. So for example, and it's usually better to start with tidiness because it's really easy to fix. And then you only have 1 data frame to work. So for example, tidiness, the problem was that I needed to merge the 3 tables into one. So I coded it so that they could be merged into one. And then I just tested by basically making sure that it has all the columns that were containing the other 3 data frames. So it's as easy as that. And then I move on to the next problem. For example, my next problem was what I was telling you, that I had like the 4 dummy variables, and that I want to drop the dummy variables, and instead I want to have just one doc stage, right? So I'm coding it here. I'm creating the new doc stage column. And here I made it super difficult because that's what I found. I use regex, which basically goes into the tweet itself, the string of the tweet itself, and it extracts. It looks for the word doggo or the word fluffer or the word popper or the word poopo, and it extracts it from the text and it puts it into the doc stage. But there's an easier way of doing that we can discuss later. Once you arrive to this stage. So and just to see that I fixed it, I just print the info for the data frame again. And as you can see over here, I have my new column doc stage, and it's
Yeah.
populated, and I don't have any more my
Yeah.
dummy variables.
Yeah.
Okay, and here I have the value counts.
Got it.
And for example, I need to delete the rows that are retweets. So what I did was I found all the retweets, and I found out that if in the text, if it says dog rates right here, that means that it's a retweet. Okay, so I looked for all the strings, for all the tweets that had the word dog rate, that had this phrase, and if I found that, that means that these were retweets, and no, that didn't have that. Sorry, yeah, equals false. That didn't have that. Yeah. If the string contains dog rates equals false. So yeah, I guess it's the yeah. No, what I'm doing is the ones that said dog rates. That's the ones that I'm keeping, and I don't use Twitter, so I'm not familiar with it anymore. If having the dog rates meant that it was a retweet, but I think it is because dog rates is the user you are studying right now. So whenever it's a retweet, it has the RT at the beginning. So instead of looking for dog rates, you could look for the RT.
Okay.
Okay. And so what it's basically doing is it's okay. This is a retweet from John Hill, and and it always will have the main user, which is dog rates, because it's retweeting what dog rates. So I'm just erasing those, and then just this here's the code that I used initially to see if it was a retweet, and now I don't have any retweets.
Right.
I delete any unnecessary columns. For example, in reply to status, I don't need it. So I just figured out I didn't need any of these, so I just and then just look here at info that I didn't have them, so that was it.
Yeah.
Changing the data type, as we said, I changed this to a string, and then just making sure that it is a string now. As you can see, it is.
Yeah.
Show the text in its entirety. So this was like all crammed together, and I just you couldn't read the whole thing. Let me show it to you. So for example, here in text, where is it? Sorry, I don't want to make you dizzy by scrolling too fast.
No. This is really good.
Okay. Oh, for example, here the text, I wasn't able to read the whole text.
Yeah.
So what I had to do was, where is it? Here it is. So I use this code. I Google it, like data frame pandas, how to expand the call width, something along those lines, how to display the whole text in a column.
Right.
And I found it, and then I apply it, and now you can read the whole thing.
Nice.
Okay. Look for the dog name. As I said, there are some dog names that are wrong. They say A or N or whatever. Yeah. So what I did, I used some regex, some regular expressions. So basically what this is doing is I'm going inside the tweet itself, the string column, which is the one that has where is it? Oh yeah, so I'm looking inside the text column, which is this one. It's the tweet itself. And I want to use the string method and the extract method from string. And basically, I'm looking for a regular expression that follows this.
Yeah.
Okay. So I read the different tweets, and I figured out that when they introduced the name of the dog, they always said something like "this is" or "mid some this," and then the name of the dog. So here, what this does is, okay, look for this expression, this or is or mid, and then and it has this question mark because I don't want to get this part. I just wanted to find it, and what I actually want is what it's after that.
Yeah.
So after this, or after is, or after meet, get me whatever letters it has after that.
After that.
So in that way, I found the names and I put them inside a new column name.
Wow, that's a cool one. I like that one because
Yeah, I
that was
really like this one. It was super difficult. This was the hardest part by far.
and it looks like a line of code, but to get that, that's pretty tough. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and for like first time, like I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know that I needed to use regex. So now you know you have to use regex, and it's going to be a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And then I just find like just making sure that I got all the names, and then that I don't have any funny names like A or N or whatever.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And then I decided to capitalize like I mean this could it wasn't needed, but I decided to capitalize the P1 and the P2. The true was with this lowercase.
Okay.
I mean it wasn't needed, but I did it anyway.
Yeah.
And so, and just erasing the duplicates. So for those where they have a duplicated URL and expand the URLs, erase the duplicate. So for example, here in URLs, some of these, as this one you can see, it has the URL and then it has it one more time.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't want that at all. So what I did, I extracted the URL from the same expanded URL, and basically I put it inside the column again, and now as you can see, it only contains the ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, what I really suggest you look for is regex cheat code or regex cheat sheet or something along those lines. Like it will explain what a parenthesis means in regex, what plus means in regex. Okay, so here what I was looking for was a comma.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, okay, whatever is after the comma, get me that. So for example, right here, as you can see, I had the first URL. And here's a comma.
Yeah.
So I'm ignoring whatever was before and I'm getting the new one. Okay.
Interesting. Yeah. Do you think there's like another way to do this? I mean, I'm just thinking out loud.
It might. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure there must be another way. Not a way I can think of, but I'm pretty sure it exists.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm just changing the timestamp to make it a datetime instead of a string. So the doc stage, it said poop or fluff or whatever, and I just wanted to be with a uppercase.
Yeah.
And this one is important as well. So the values for A enumerators. So the ones that I don't know if you have read the tweets, but they say like, oh, this is this is my dog, and I give him a rating of 9 over 10.5 or something along those lines. They rate the dogs. So some ratings are like 10.5 or 11.2. So most of them are usually wrong because they don't say 10.5, they say just like 0.5. They're missing the 10. So you need to get the correct result. For example, right here, like this one, this is correct. But before I fixed it, it didn't have the 9. It just said 0.75, which is obviously wrong.
So how do you know that 0.75 means 9.75?
Oh, because let me go back to see if I have it here in assess. When I was in the assess part of it, actually, I didn't find out. My reviewer said like, oh, this is an issue, you need to fix it. But you might see it if you go to rating numerator and you just like scroll through it, and you will see that some of them will say point some. Let me see if I can find one.
Oh wait, so that 9.75, did you do a ratio? Is that a ratio or is that like
It's a ratio, yes. It is
I see. Yeah, because I noticed that. So my question was the ratio ideally has to be a greater or equal to 1, right?
no, well, no, actually it's not a ratio. It's the rating they give, it's a ratio, but you don't have to change it. Because it's for fun. They rate the dogs as a ratio. They say like, oh, this dog is 9 out of 10, or this dog is 15 out of 10. Let me try. Let me see if I can show it.
So it can be, so the denominator and numerator, they don't have to like,
They can
could
be
be.
anything. Yeah, I mean it's for fun. It's for fun. It can be anything.
I see.
So for example, here they gave this dog 13 over 10, which
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. I mean, so it can be anything.
Yeah.
But you will see here. No, I cannot seem to find a case, but you will see
Yeah.
a case where it says 0.75. And if you look into that tweet, you will see here in the text that it says actually 9.75. So I didn't find it the first time, but my reviewer told me about it. But now that you know, in the assess part, you can look for it. What I would do is I would just print the 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 denominator column and and print the text column that matches that ID, so that you can read it completely.
Yeah.
Okay, and you will see here the 9.75, and you will see that it doesn't match the denominator.
Oh, okay. So does every text column that you showed have the rating or not every?
I think for these Twitter archiving haste, let me see. That is a good question, and that's something that you should put in assess. For example, you should look for an assess. Like those sort of questions, you should write them down. Like, oh, let's see if we have any missing values for denominators and numerators, and let's see if I did that. So this is the enumerators. Where is it? It's okay. So here as you can see, the tweet ID. Well, no, this might be different. But for example, let's say that this was my value counts. I will have 1,976 tweets IDs, and I'd see here that I have the same amount for numerator and denominator, so I don't have any missing values. Okay, so that's one way you can check it with value counts. And but yeah, it's something that you should definitely look for to see if you have any missing values, especially for those categories that look important. Okay, let's continue. And so that's basically what you have to do. Once you have gathered all your information, write them into data frames. Look at the data frames and look for duplicated values. Look for missing values. Look for wrong data types. Those are like the main errors that you will find. And wrong names in the variables. And once you have that, like you have to list them, and then you have to fix them by defining it, coding, and testing. And once you're done with the list, you have to create some visualizations, which is going to be easy because you already clean the data. Okay. So here, and you can look for whatever you want. Here, I'm looking for number of tweets per doc stage. So I would like to see what doc stage is the most popular.
Got it.
And the retweets, for example, the most popular dog names.
Yeah.
It's whatever info you would like to just to get to know better. Okay. And what I suggest you do is take a really good look at the rubric, because you need to come up with different files. So you have to do the wrangle, which is the one that I just showed you, and you have to write 2 reports. Okay, the first report is basically describing all your wrangling efforts. So what did you do for gather, what do you do for assess, and what do you do for clean? Basically explain like everything you did. And the other one is your so whatever you found. So here is basically it's like an article of what you found. This is the most popular dog name. And then I asked, like, what is the dog stage that is most popular? Oh, and then I did this, and this is what I found. Okay, so basically you have to think about it like as an article. Like, this is just your visualizations and a description of what those visualizations mean. Okay.
So here you don't need to justify what you cleaned and how. It's more like the output.
Exactly like that. So what I really suggest you do, I think the rubric is really, really important in this one. Let me see if I can find it here. Because there is a specific number of issues that you need to identify. So, okay, so the 3 sources, you already have them. Is the API, the other one is like a programmatic approach, and the other one is just like a link they give you. And then visual assessment, that's basically that you need to display each data frame, and then pandas function as like duplicated or is null or wherever you would like to see. And here you need to find 8 data quality issues and 2 tidiness issues. So where is it? Here. So you have to list them at the end of assess of the second part. So here I have found at least 8 of these quality issues and at least 2 of these tidiness issues.
Got it.
Okay, and then let's go back to the rubric. And then you have to do the define code test steps as I just showed you. And that's it. They have to be clean.
Yeah.
And here's your reports. So you have to do like a report of your wrangling efforts, which is about 300, 600 words, what you did to wrangle the data. And then the act report, which is basically like the insights that you found.
Okay.
And then you have to submit 3 different files.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Cool. Is there anything else I can help you with today, Tina?
No, that was really amazing, and I think I can now finish not the statistic, only the statistic one, but also the next one, since I already started on that one. So I hope by this weekend I can knock those 2 out. And I actually also started on the 3rd one already, and it's so interesting because like the 3rd one is all about visualizations, right? And picking the right ones. So and I was thinking actually that doing that last assignment also right now in parallel, I can actually benefit from that and put that in my, this assignment, for example, for the visualization part. So
I think the last one is more focused on Tableau. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I didn't see anything Tableau.
No, you didn't see anything Tableau. Let me. Maybe I'm wrong because there have been some modifications to it. No, you're absolutely right. It's the one about you have to. Yes, do you use R for it, or what language do you use for it, or is it Python?
I just use Python, and there's like 3 data sets they give you, or you can choose your own. And I picked the it's like a bike sharing data set.
Right. Yeah, gotcha. And you have to do like bivariate visualizations and multivariate visualizations. Yeah, gotcha.
So, and it's like, it reminds me, like, it's actually nice I'm doing that also because I can leverage that knowledge into this doggo pooper poo-poo thing. So it's like kind of the same.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Nice.
Cool, awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Javier. Like
No
you
problem.
always are like so like good with helping on time, and you're amazing. Seriously, thank you
Oh,
for.
thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and I'm confident that you will be able to pass the projects, and just proud of your effort.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
All
talk
right,
to you soon then, Tina.
soon. Bye.